Welcome to the 13th video in the Simblee for Mobile tutorial series. In this video we're going to talk about cache and what it is and how to use it. So one of the first things I want to point out is that we're using most of the same code, well almost all of the same code from the last video, the images video. So if you haven't watched the images video yet, I would say it'd be a handy prerequisite for this video. But it's basically all the exact same code except we added these two lines right here. SimbleeForMobile.domain and SimbleeForMobile.baseline. And domain is the name of a given segment of cache on your phone. A little bit of storage that your phone will set aside for an application if that application says that my domain name is tutorial.nate.com. If a different application or a different Simblee comes in with a different domain name, your phone will not use this amount of memory space, this cache, for that alternate application. But it will use that cache, that memory space, for any Simblee that has this shared domain name. Additionally, each domain name has a baseline. That's a date stamp for it, the last time that the cache should have been updated. So, for our example, we've got logo PNG being drawn to our screen right here. Logo PNG. It's defined in this logo.h header file right here. And here's all the hex for our logo. And it was last updated on March 2nd, 2016 at 12 p.m. And what that is, our logo that was last updated, is all the source, all of this hex is the hex for this gear right here. We have since changed our logo to be this ladybug. This ladybug is going to have all of its source code put into here now, into the logo PNG. So what we're going to come over here is we're going to grab all of this and throw it into here. And we're going to rename these things to logo. So we've updated what our logo source code is. That's what's happened. We didn't change the name of our files, which is very common. You don't necessarily always want to be changing your variable names, your file names when you're updating your app. But we did change its contents right here. So if we go ahead and upload this now to our phone, something surprising is going to happen. Or I'm sorry, if we upload this to the Simblee, something surprising is going to happen when we connect to it with our phone. And that is entirely because we did not update our baseline. We did not progress our date stamp on our cache. So when our phone connects to the Simblee, it's going to see that, oh, I have a cache for the domain name tutorial.nate.com, and the baseline for that I have is March 2nd, 2016, which is the same baseline for the app that the Simblee is trying to feed to me. Therefore, for all these values of logo PNG, I can just use what is stored in cache. And so what will happen is, basically, our logo is not going to update when we connect to it on the phone. Now to prove that to you, it's been uploaded. Let's jump to the phone and I'll show you. Alright, so we have it pulled up. We'll connect to it. And that still looks like a gear, doesn't it? That's not the ladybug. That's not the new logo. That's old source code. So why is that source code showing up? Because it was stored in cache. And since the cache was not told to update, because it had the same date stamp as before, it didn't need to upload the new source code for the logo. So now we're going to jump back to the code here. We're going to move the baseline forward. We're going to make it up to date. And then we're going to see how all of that cache is going to be rendered null, and it's going to have to grab the new logo from the Simblee. Okay, so now let's update this baseline here. Instead of March 2nd, let's make it March 22nd. And instead of 12 noon, let's make it 4:21. And this will be AM. If we wanted 4:21 PM, it would have to be 16:21. So now we've moved our baseline up, we moved our date stamp up, and when the phone connects to the Simblee, it's going to say, oh, all of my cache is out of date. Now I have to grab all the source code for this logo directly from the Simblee. So we'll upload it and we'll prove it to you. Okay, so when we connect here, the phone is going to recognize its cache is out of date. So it's not going to be able to show the old logo. It has to get the logo from the Simblee. So let's do that. Now it's going to take a little while here because it can't just draw this from memory. It has to get this giant image from the Simblee, which is going to take a little while. And there we go. There's our new logo with all of its source code gotten from the Simblee. And you can see, because of the time it took to do that, why we might just want to use cache. Otherwise, every single app that uses this ladybug, this very large image, is going to take a while to load every single time you connect. But now this ladybug is stored into the phone's cache with the domain name tutorial.nate.com for its cache and the date stamp, the baseline, of March 22nd, 2016 at 4:21 p.m. That is, in essence, that's what cache is. So what we can do here is I'll show you maybe just one more thing, maybe two more things about cache, and that'll be it, and then you can play with it on your own. Okay, so what happens if we change the domain name here? What if instead of tutorial.nate.com we change it to, I don't know, new.nate.com, and we keep the baseline the same? Well, when we upload this, we're going to create a new cache on the phone. We're going to create a new cache called new.nate.com with the baseline as described here. And it will load up all of the logo source. It will load all of this up just like we just saw in that previous segment there. And then we will have two caches running independently of each other. And if we were to now, have a second or a third Simblee device come on with those domain names, they could make use of the cache that is a part of it. So if we were to go to new.nate.com, upload this to the phone, and then go back and change this all again, all the source code for the logo, you could have all the images, you could have the old logo and the new logo stored on the phone, and they could be entirely independent of each other without writing over each other inside of the same domain. Of course, all of this is limited by your phone's settings for cache. As a phone user, I can go into the settings menu and delete cache for any application, or I can limit the size of cache for any application. So it has its limits, but this is how you would use it most efficiently. Alright, well that's all I have to show for cache in this video. I hope it's a good primer for you and that you're able to use it. Please like, subscribe, leave questions. I would love to answer any questions you've got on it if I can. And stick around for any future videos. Thanks a lot.